I'm going to be doing a review on the new knit Purl tool that's out, and I will put a link if you want to get one. And as you can see, one side is more straight and the other side is curved back. Okay, and this is supposed to be the knit side and this is supposed to be the purl side. Okay, and how they show it, I'll show it how they show it, and then I did it a different way because of how I use my hook naturally. Okay, I'm gonna do a knit, purl, purl. Now, how they show it originally being used is where your purl side is facing away from you and your knit side, and it's going to be like this. Okay, and what they show is you picking up the yarn and tossing it over like that, which you can see that's not how I typically do things, but that is how they show doing the knit stitch. Okay, now how they do the purl is they stick it in, they stick the knit side in, push back the stitch that's on there, stick that under, you can see there, pull through, then they pull the working yarn in there, pull that back, and then push it onto the peg. Okay, so you stick the knit side in, pull away, pick up right there the purl side, and then pull the working yarn in and then place it onto the peg. Now that is how they show to do the actual usage of this, and I think it works great for a kiss loom, particularly because you've got those extra pins in there and you're wanting to constantly bring the working yarn inside, which will make it easier to go around the pins. But that's not how I typically work a hook. Okay, I find that with this hook I end up using the purled side a lot more. So I'm going to pick up my other hook and show you how I do it. And my hook, I can't find this anywhere, and it's my favorite. I think it's a factory malfunction through KB, but there's a little tip on the end that curves. Okay, I love this thing. Alright, well, how I normally do is I normally hold my hook like this, and I roll with my fingers. Alright, and my knits tend to go up, under, like that, and toss over and pulling back a little bit, keeping the knit stitch loose, so my flat knit. And that's how I generally, and it's a roll with the fingers. Well, how I normally do a purl is still a roll. Okay, roll. Alright, well, I like that motion. It's less movement, as little movement as possible, and it's a roll with the fingers. Okay, well, picking back up the knit purl tool, I find I hold the hook like this. Purl side pointing up, knit side pointing down. And what I do is pick up with the purl side and toss over on my knits like that. Okay, and then how I do my purl is a lot different. I stick the knit side down in there, pull up, and then I pull to the side to release that hook, grab the yarn, and pull it back on. And that keeps with a muscle memory that I already have. Okay, and I find it works it faster that way. Okay, but it means I'm using this hook a lot, and this hook is basically a guide for me. Okay, so I toss it over like I normally would, then I go in, grab it, and you'll see that there's the hook, but you don't have to pull it out that far. Just grab it real quick and pull through out to the side, grab it, and that pulling out to the side releases that bottom hook. So that's how I do a purl stitch with this one. Now, completing this review, what I will say is that it takes time. It takes time to develop a technique that's personal to your already set in muscle memory, or it takes time to get used to the actual hook. So when you get it, take time on a single project, like I'm doing one for my son, which is mostly a rib stitch. Take time on a single project to sit down and play with the tool. Play with it. Don't just automatically, after 15 minutes, get frustrated and say you don't want to use it. If you're interested in this tool, you need to give yourself an hour to 2 hours of playing with it until you grasp what's going to work for your style. Because I don't like sending my yarn, I don't do units, so I don't like sending my yarn in and out. It took me extra to go in and figure out my own personal style of using this hook. So if you do buy the hook, or if you've already bought the hook and you found that you've gotten frustrated with it, take the time to play around with it. It's a tool, and any tool can work to your preference, but you have to sit there and you have to play with it. So it's well built. The tool has a solid handle. There's two, and they're solid. There's nothing that bends with them. It's a solid product, okay, but it's handmade. This is not mass produced. So if you're wanting to support a small American business, this is an option for you. Again, it is something that needs to take time and playing around with it and everything, because I can tell you, the way I purl, you can catch the yarn, okay, but I found that it makes it easier to work with me, for my personal style, to do it this way. So overall, it's an excellently made tool. It's well made. I would suggest it for anybody who would like to try a new tool, particularly if you use a kiss loom and you want to do it in the traditional manner. I'll also include a couple of links of Kate's that had done the in the kiss method and the more traditional of how it was originally set to be done. But this is my method that I've just showed you. And so give it a look-see, check it out, and see what you think. But I think it's a well-made tool, and I think it has potential to really go places. So that is my review of the new Knit Purl tool. Okay, this is the tool that is created by Kathy Carter and her husband. They make these. And so again, I will put a link below the video for this tool. And I will also put a link to Kate Winslow's video on how to use it and how she uses it with her Kiss Loom, and how she uses it in general in comparison to how I use it. So go ahead and check those links out and see what you think and everything. But keep in mind, this is a small production, American, a small business, so these are going to be a little bit more pricey than something that you would get that's manufactured in a big old plant and everything. So take that into consideration, that this is more of a handcrafted tool rather than a manufacturing line. So go ahead and check out those links and see what you think.